The Meat Show is coming to you from New York City. We are in front of Delmonico's, America's oldest restaurant, also America's oldest steakhouse. The chef here, Billy Oliver, called me up. He said he's got something special planned because they're coming up on their 180th anniversary. So let's go inside and find out what's going on.
So we're doing a 180-day dry-aged ribeye for the anniversry.
Interesting. Delmonico cut, I would
Delmonico,
assume.
yeah, absolutely.
Which, of course, is the
absolutely.
namesake cut of this restaurant.
There you go. And
We're a few months away, so are they must be on the shelf already, right?
they're on the shelf. They're right at about 90 days.
So we're halfway there.
Halfway. So we don't dry age here because we just don't have the space. So we actually do it out in Jersey.
Hit the road?
Let's go.
All right, mate. These guys are aging your meat for you?
They are. They've been doing it for a while now. Short loins, bone-in ribeyes, tomahawk steaks. We just ran out of space in Delmonico's.
But you've gotten beef from these guys forever. I mean, when I first met you, you had green
Yeah,
tree
we've
beef,
been
right?
using them for a long, long time.
So long relationship,
Yeah.
and they give you the cuts
They
you
do
need.
a great job. We do a 28-day T-bone. We do a 45-day dry-age bone-in ribeye.
The Delmonico is actually wet aged, right?
The classic Delmonico is a wet-aged steak. Yeah, we do a combination of both.
So for your 180th anniversary, you're doing something a little different, right?
We're experimenting. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's the same cut, but we're going to go 180. We'll check out the dates on that.
So that went up in February.
Yeah.
You can see already the desiccation on this.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It's a rock. It's a rock. But you can see that this is a very, what we would call a clean dry age room.
Yeah, it's holding up well.
Some places you'll see there'll be this sort of this layer of fluff, right?
Yeah,
Funk.
which
That's
is
not really
what we
positive.
want, yes.
So maybe we could cook the Delmonico
And one
maybe,
of these
and one of
guys.
these, and
We'll
maybe
break
one of
up
your
of
standard
these.
steaks too, just because you can never have enough beef on the meat show, right? From your 23.9
9 pounds.
Prime 107 that you put up 3 months ago, the two end steaks we really determined you can't use because of the spoilage on the end. So you're really left with 5 24-ounce steaks.
That's it.
I'm not very good at math, but that's a lot of
That's a lot of laws.
Generally, you guys trim these at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So all of this
This
stuff
gets melted down.
into fat.
This goes into a broth.
I'm sure one of the crafty chefs
Somebody's eating that
takes
one.
the end cut and actually made one of the funkiest steaks available. I mean, this already is like an exceptional steak.
Yeah,
right?
that's-
90-day dry aged.
So I really like the eye on this one, and I like the spinellis. I think that's always my
That's a
favorite
killer
part.
one.
Thank you.
You don't normally make the deliveries yourself, huh?
No. Usually they come to me on the other end.
This is the Delmonico cut.
Classic Delmonico.
That's your standard
Dry
rib-
age. Yep.
dry aged rib steak. And how many days was that again?
This one is about 30, I believe.
Okay, which is
exact.
that's sort of the industry standard, right? And then we have the Monster 90 day, which is halfway to our 180-day goal.
Brush it with a mix of melted butter and a little bit of beef fat. And then we finish with Malden sea salt and a little Pierre Poivre.
Pierre Poivre is a spice blend.
It's a
right?
peppermint,
Made-
pepper mix, yeah.
And the number 7 you use.
Number 7, yeah. There's so many firsts invented right
Well,
here.
the first celebrity chef. I mean, Charles Rainhofer was America's
the first cookbook.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so much history. Eggs Benedict, baked Alaska.
The Delmonico steak now is almost always here. It's a rib steak or ribeye, boneless rib steak. Most of the country, but sometimes you'll see it's a New York strip. But what you told me was that actually the Delmonico was the best cut on a particular night, right?
You know, back in the 1800s, they were slaughtering the animals out on the street.
Right.
So it was the best cut that they had.
So
At
it could
that
have
time.
it could have been a fillet, it could have been a
strip,
sirloin
it could
cut,
have
a New
been
York
a-
strip. I love that you still have the pageantry. It's still a fine
it's
dining
still-
restaurant at its heart, right? Even though it's really known as a steakhouse. I think that we should probably start I mean, should we just start with the with the
Delmonico,
Delmonico?
right?
This is your classic, biggest selling steak, wet aged,
Wet aged.
28 days.
Yep.
You know my feelings on wet aged beef.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. But that said, that is an absolutely gloriously cooked piece of meat. You have that beautiful char on the outside. Look at the color of that, it's pink. Just a rinse. It smells great. What that's totally lacking in my expectation of a piece of meat is that dry aged,
Depth of flavor.
that depth of flavor. But that said, this is still one of the greatest things on earth that you can eat, right? We're talking about a margin of difference of like 5% better with dry aged, you know. I mean, that's just still, look at it. That's still carnivore heaven right there. 28 there. There's a fascination I have with the process of dry aging that the further from life you take something, and wine is a good example, cheese, like there's something that, there's a profundity of flavor,
Yeah.
right? It's just, it tastes less and less like life and more like something else. Wow.
Big difference.
Huge. I mean, to me, it's a night and day difference between those two things. Like they're both clearly beef, they're both clearly protein, but
Totally different process.
this just has those notes. It's like there's a gentle tang. It's got depth of flavor. It stays with you much longer. That's very clean. It finishes very cleanly. This has residual flavor.
That's the 90-day.
The reason we are here. This is a 90-day dry age, bone-in USDA prime grade beef rib steak. It's more brittle.
Yeah,
It kind of just
it's
comes
gonna-
apart a lot more easily.
It could.
It's definitely more sour tasting. Wow.
Spinellis has a great texture.
It's almost got a creaminess to it. It's really interesting. It's interesting. I don't think that I actually like it more than the 28 day.
You like that one better.
When you age things, there's peaks and crescendos and valleys, right?
hits its plateau and-
it changes flavor over time.
Yeah.
And I think that this is just one of the cycles where like the sour notes are kind of becoming prominent. I'm interested to see what will happen with the
180.
I think it's going to be completely different. This is the 90-day. We're going to come back in 3 months in September, which is Delmonico's 180th anniversary, and we're going to try the 180-day dry aged steak. Also, we have a 90 up there, right?
Yeah, we were going to put those up today, so it's almost exactly the
The
same amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be very interesting. We'll already be able to compare this with that. Well, here's to the next 180 years.
We'll be part of that history.
Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next episode.